Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am the Colombian rocket scientist and I am also an aerospace engineer. More specifically, I work as a propulsion test engineer, testing rocket engines. And so if you guys have any questions about rockets, spaceships, rocket engines, that sort of thing, feel free to ask me. You can put them in the comments and that'll also help me come up with more ideas for more videos. But one thing, what I want to talk about today is something that has always fascinated. I've always had this curiosity of why do rockets separate into multiple different pieces when going into space, right? Like, I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that, but it was such a huge curiosity. Like, it actually made me sad growing up, knowing that this is the one mode of transportation where you have to discard used pieces of the rocket, right? You have to discard pieces of the rocket as the rocket goes into space. And I always wondered why. Why does it have to be this way, right? Why can't we have it where rockets are like airplanes, where they don't need to separate into multiple pieces? Like airplanes fly and to from one place to another place in one piece, right? So do cars, right? Cars transport themselves from point A to point B in one piece, right? Anything that has an engine, right? That burns, that has a process of combustion inside of an engine, it's clearly not like separating itself into multiple pieces to get somewhere. The only mode of transportation that does that is rockets. And to me, it's sad, right? It's sad that that has to be the way, but there's a good reason for it. And you would think that maybe it's because of the weight or rockets, and some people will say that, and it is true that it has to do with weight, but it has to do more so with weight than with anything else. So rockets, when you see a rocket like on the launch pad, most of what you're seeing is actually fuel, or I should say propellant. We call that propellant, right? Propellant is a combination of an oxidizer and a fuel. It's what the rocket needs to have stored in tanks to burn in the engine, right? To create thrust and start moving upwards, right? But if you think about, so like, because of that, only about like somewhere between, 3% is what is known as the cargo or payload, right? It's the useful part of the rocket that actually does something at its destination, right? Like a satellite or something like that. It's only like a small fraction of the entire mass of the entire weight of the rocket is the cargo, right? And if you think about like cars and airplanes, right? They have huge, like the percentage of what the plane is in terms of like payload and cargo, like passengers, bags, all that stuff is huge compared to like the fuel, right? The fuel in an airplane is stored in its wings, and maybe on some airplanes have it on the underside part of the belly of the airplane, like another additional tank there. But that's it. And then cars, of course, have a small tank they store in the back, right? And for the most part, and everything else is like just space for passengers, right? Which is essentially cargo, right? For that vehicle, right? And so it's shocking, right? But it's really because of the fact that you know it's more so to do with the reason why weight becomes so important in rockets is because they have to carry something additional that no other mode of transportation has to carry, right? And clearly airplanes are humongous. They weigh a lot. Yet they have so much space for cargo. Yet they don't have to discard sections of the airplane to get to where they're going or to extend their range, right? They don't have to do that. They don't do that at all, right? And it's because of the fact that rockets operate in a medium where there's no oxygen. That's the key difference, right? Think about it. Airplanes, cars, all have an oxygen tank, but that oxygen tank is basically a huge, for practically speaking, it's an infinite oxygen tank, which is the atmosphere of the earth, right? the air that we breathe, right, contains oxygen, 20% oxygen, about roughly 20% oxygen, the rest nitrogen for the most part. And airplanes and cars, they can easily take advantage of that, right? They don't have to carry their own oxygen tanks. They don't have to, um, they don't have to carry in their oxygen tank. But because rockets operate in the vacuum of space where there's just nothing, it's nothingness, right? There's no atmosphere that contains oxygen in space, right? It's a vacuum. It's void of any gas, of any pressure, right? That's what a vacuum is. So because of that, rockets have to carry their own oxygen tank if they want to burn, right? If they want to combust fuel in space, right? There's no other way. And because of this, rockets pay a huge price for it. They pay a humongous price for it. And I can delve more into, okay, how does then this affect, performance and all that stuff. But really, I just wanted to touch on that for this video. And it's simply that all other modes of transportation on this planet, they have it easy in terms of like just, not having to carry their own oxygen tank, Earth's atmosphere provides oxygen for any other mode of transportation. And so, airplanes don't need an oxygen tank, cars don't need an oxygen tank. But because rockets operate in a medium, right, in a place where there isn't any oxygen that they can ingest and use it for combustion and to generate power and thrust, they sadly have to carry their own oxygen tank. And that is what does it for rockets. That is the reason why rockets have to discard sections of their of their vehicle, because it actually, if you didn't do that, you'd be carrying, then weight becomes super important. Then the mass actually does matter, right? The sheer weight of the structure along the rocket won't allow it to get into orbit, because of the fact that your engine performance is now, compared to aircraft jet engines, is significantly lower. It's so poor. Rocket engines, in the grand scheme of things, have such poor performance. Even the highest performing rocket engines cannot outcompete an aircraft engine in terms of performance and efficiency. And it's solely because of the fact that they have to carry their own, rockets have to carry their own oxygen tank. So I hope you guys learned something. Let me know if you guys have any questions about that. I really just wanted to keep it simple and basic. But that's something that I wanted to just, delve into and teach here. So yeah, looking forward to making another video about these sort of topics. And again, comment what else you guys want to learn, and hopefully I can make more videos on that.